And then on the 6th, we have Lola Harvey. And on the 13th, well, I should say December 6th, I should say. And then December 13th, we have Jessica Black. Now that we're done putting ourselves over, it's a great day for wrestling because we are wrestling with the news. Um, we'll get into Full Gear and everything that comes out of it. We'll get into Full Gear and review all of that in a little bit, but there are some things that came out of that, so that I do find interesting that we could talk about because spoilers. Um, it's said that the Young Bucks are taking some time off after their lackluster match against Kenny Omega and Chris Jericho for the foreseeable future, which is, a good thing. But when they do come back, they are expected to make an impact. In 20, well, let's say 2024. Let's say they don't come back for the remainder of the year. Does the Young Bucks actually make an impact in 2024? It seems like, you know, they're not entirely motivated to actually work anymore.
I mean, it just depends. Well, it's the double entendre, right? Because the tag team division was built around FTR and the Bucks, and because of the fact that it's such a deep tag team division, that felt so long ago, and now I don't feel that anymore. So it's just the impact is the impact on who, because if other tag teams can come up in the mix, then for sure, that's a group that they can be like a gatekeeper to the chips. But other than that, not so much.
I thought it meant that they were going to Impact, which might not be a bad thing.
Ain't that much better because it's still not a deep tag team division.
I mean, when you look at
Like,
it, there are, some good tag teams. You have FTR, you have Ricky Starks and Big Bill, House of Black and Any Rendition, um, Private Party, Top Flight.
private parties on a milk crate, and you know it. But you remember when they used to have an in depth of up and rising tag teams that never really broke through, and that's the problem.
Right.
And it's honestly, I think that's just tag teams all across the board because for some odd reason, everyone has this formula of people and making them team up for a cause rather than actually, putting in the work of tag team,
Right.
of actual tag team gamemanship. And I can make an argument. You see, the last great tag team that I saw tag team match was, but let me see, the Usos and Jay and Kevin Owens have been together forever, but there was two singles people that came together. But the last two tag teams where they were actual tag teams, I would have to go back to like New Day Usos or like FTR, the Revival American Alpha days.
Be a little bit more fair. FTR versus the Briscoes was amazing. Um,
Yes, okay. That one, Hardy's Briscoes.
um, yeah. What is their names? Just last year, um, Street Profits versus the Usos at not SummerSlam, Money in the Bank. That was a really good match. Um, yeah, there they have been far and few, but there has been just tag team wrestling in general has been far and few when it comes to you know it's getting time. There hasn't been a lot of time allowed to these guys, and it's a sad situation when the women's tag team championships are getting more attention than the males. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean, but give me one second to just getting on my nerves.
I just like getting back to the Young Bucks. They Nobody will doubt that they were one of the best tag teams of their time. They did do what they set out to do, and that was make being an independent pro wrestler profitable. They were literally rock stars on the independents, whether it was Ring of Honor, whatever independent bookings they did, and obviously New Japan. They were the number one merch sellers. People paid to see the Young Bucks on these shows. But ever since AEW started and they're comfortably living because they don't have to do that hustle. They don't have to do any of that anymore. It seems like they got complacent and that they lost their motivation to wrestle. And when you lose your motivation to actually wrestle, who's going to want to see you wrestle? You know what I mean?
That could be the case, but I also look at it from the standpoint of when they got there, it was supposed to be to uplift a group of people in a tag team that otherwise wouldn't have got that chance, right? So, like when we said we would talk about private parties, and I mean, remember Pillman Jr. Remember they were supposed to be like, was it the Varsity Blues or something like that? I forgot the name
The
of the
Varsity
tag team.
Blondes.
The Varsity Bronze, yeah, yes, sir. And that didn't pop off. Private Party didn't pop off. Um, it just seemed like other than FTR, Young Bucks, Pentagon,
And Ray Phoenix.
Phoenix, Swerve and Keith Lee,
They're just not a tag team
Omega
anymore.
and Hangman. Like I can think of but the thing is, in fact, when I think of the division, those names pop up more than you see what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Those names pop up more and so than the ones that they were supposed to try to build up. Even like Luchasaurus Jack Perry, that's on the back front.
Yeah. I don't know. It just seems like, it was supposed to be tag team wrestling was supposed to be a big thing in AEW, and it became like WWE. It's something that falls to the wayside now. Not you know not maybe not theirs to blame, but it is what it is.
I mean, it's not theirs to blame. I just think it's just more of a. I mean, it's kind of an interest of opportunity, and I feel like some of those tag teams didn't get opportunity to flow as much as they did. Like when Private Party had that match with the Bucks, you remember, even though they lost, you would have thought they built on the buzz, and then they got to Matt Hardy, and then they kind of got lost. You see what I'm saying? So it's
Yeah.
like it's a lot of mitigating factors with it. So I'm not blaming the Bucks per se,
Oh
but
no.
I'm just saying like that's the result of what happened. You know what I'm saying?
Right, and they did lose opportunities because AW did, because look at Brian Pillman Jr. Alexis King and in NXT popping off against Carmelo and a Trip.
Right. You see what I'm saying? And that's a whole nother thing. Because the thing off with is Mello, who you can make the argument NXT Star of the Year is
Right.
huge.
Speaking of huge, Lunchasaurus. His new name is Killswitch. Um, I would say it's a good thing to maybe make the dinosaur something different. Lunchosaurus is not exactly the most, threatening name in the world, so I'm somewhat pro Kill Switch, even though it's a stupid fucking name. Maybe a new mask would be fitting for Kill Switch as well. Um, because if I'm being honest, low key, Lunchosaurus could be Kane-esque looking, even though they've been jobbing him out to the baby faces for the last couple of months, or maybe years at this point.
Name change doesn't mean nothing if they don't do anything with it.
Well, what if
Prime
they?
example,
Yeah.
like heel change doesn't do anything unless you do something with it. Because changing the name does nothing for him unless it builds to something significant. And that's the question. What is it? Is it going to build to him hitting the kill switch on Christian?
Hmm. I mean, they were. It did seem like they were teasing it before we got to Edge coming in. So it's a. But now they have a name for their group. So it's okay. They're going this route. Okay, no, no, they're going that route. Oh, well, now they're flying in the air. AEW could be very misleading sometimes. Most of the time. All the
Tell
fucking
me about
time.
it.
And our good friend Damian Wayne has a new nickname. It is Pro Diggity. So he is
Prodigy,
uh, Pro Diggity. Yes.
Pro Diggity. That sounds like the Blackstreet song, No Diggity.
Interesting how we have our own ideas of what we're saying. So we got Kill Switch and Pro Diggity and Christian. It's sounding like somebody took words out of a random book at this point.
I mean, Kill Switch is Kill Switch Engage, CM Punk, Prodigy. I mean, No Diggity. I just think Dr. Dre and Blackstreet.
Well, what do you think when you hear that Renee Baguette Young Ambrose Moxley um, is going to be a producer on AEW? With
Renee Paquette.
Renee Baguette.
I'm just saying.
I it okay
Renee Paquette.
if you're a wrestler that is producing, okay, well you do pro wrestling, so you know how to produce wrestling. But when you're only ever had, commentating and announcing, am I really going to trust you to produce myself? You know what I mean?
I mean, she's been around enough death matches to know, I guess, right?
So everybody's going to bleed and scream obscenities like Mox.
Maybe she did the swerve death match. You never know.
Renee Paquette was the producer for Swerve and Hangman.
Might have been, AIDS getting spread around. God knows.
And
I'm
unfortunately,
just saying.
a bad bit of news. Juice Robinson has a back injury. He will be out for quite some time. He's having surgery. Um, it really just sucks for Juice Robinson. It does seem like every time, he does something that's taking off or getting him over, something like this stops it or he gets injured. Yes, no, agree, disagree.
Pretty much. I mean, but then again, at least he's known for something other than being like Tony Storm's husband. So I mean, give him that. Give him that much.
Well, luckily they haven't, nobody's pulled the trigger on that, except for, what is his name? Fred Roswell. And I know
Mm-hmm.
not a lot of people unfortunately saw that, so I think he's safe for right now.
We'll see.
Yeah. Alright, I think that will take care of the news for now. And now a quick word from our sponsors.
Hey, folks, this is the Colossal Mike Law, and you are listening to Wrestling with Entertainment. Enjoy the show. Support these guys. We appreciate it very much. We'll see you at ringside.